Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on onespotmedia.com.
There were fiery exchanges between the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and the Auditor General Pamela Monroe-Ellis at Parliament's Public Accounts Committee PAC meeting today.
The ministry was summoned before the committee to provide details of its spending during the COVID-19 pandemic after the Auditor General's department raised several red flags.
Now, as the Auditor General raised questions about the hundreds of millions of dollars spent, an unapologetic Permanent Secretary fired back. The Auditor General Department's report on the Health Ministry's spend and procedures used after the first confirmed local COVID-19 case has raised several questions. It, among other things, pointed to $619 million spent on quarantine facilities at hotels in 2020 without clearly defined contracts. Permanent Secretary in the Health Ministry, Dunstan Bryan, argues that no law was broken, as not only are hotel rentals exempted from procurement guidelines, but the associated purchase orders served as contracts. Auditor General Pamela Monroe-Ellis disagrees.
So if it is going to be used as a contract, the terms of agreement must be clearly stipulated to hold the supplier accountable and to protect the government. The purchase orders which I have included for the committee members to see contains absolutely nothing that would amount to a contract. In fact, the ministry used the purchase order as payment vouchers.
But the Permanent Secretary insists that the Auditor General's report lacks context. He says urgent decisions had to be made regarding COVID-19, which he believes were not considered in the report.
The first instance that we had to engage with a hotel, if you recall, was, I believe, in June, was it, CMO, when the persons were on the ship.
He pointed out that in that case, only one hotel agreed to provide accommodation at a reduced rate, and so the ministry proceeded based on the purchase orders. But the Auditor General had other issues.
And what we saw as well is that the payment voucher, the invoice is on the same date, and the payment is being made for hotel rooms not yet occupied, but it is stamped that goods delivered in satisfactorily. Those are the issues, Permanent Secretary. The fact is, too, the Permanent Secretary, because he is hell-bent on holding on to this thing about purchase order, has not actually provided any evidence that he was able to satisfy himself that all the rooms were occupied.
At the time of the transaction, we did not know how many rooms we were going to utilize. We did not know. What we agreed with the firm or with the company was the fact that we needed rooms to be made available for us to house persons who were in households that had high risk factors.
Mr. Bryan fiercely rejected the suggestions of questionable transactions, insisting that no laws were broken. He also questioned the findings of the report, to which Committee Chair Julian Robinson responded.
The guidance from the report is you were in emergency circumstances, you were managing lives, not administrative risks, but best practice going forward, purchase order, but then contract.